Unstoppable CC. What is it? Should you use it? And which champions have it? In today's video, guys, that's exactly what I will be covering. I did a build video on Basher yesterday, basically explaining sort of this unstoppable CC concept. So I'll do it again in this video today. We're going to use the tier list to do it, and then we're also going to basically work on these top 5 champions right here, okay? So this will be a follow-up to the mini-series I started not too long ago for top 5 stun champions, top 5 freeze, sleep, block cooldown skills. And so today we're going to do put skills on cooldown and increase skills on cooldown. So what you see basically here is that they are grayed out. What this means is that it is not a debuff, it is an action. So that is what I mean by unstoppable. It is the fact that it will bypass the block debuffs buff. And since there isn't a lot of champions, the list should go relatively quickly, okay? So let's get going. First off, we're going to talk about one of the best. It is Warlord. You guys obviously have heard of this champion before for good reason. He is really strong. But the way his skill works, it is one of the put each target's skills with an S, so that means all of them on cooldown, okay? So it's an AoE. It's going to affect all the skills, and it's not going to increase the cooldown by 1 turn or 2 turns. Instead, the put each target skills on cooldown will be literally all the skills will go on maximum cooldown, okay? Being a Void champion, having 100% chance of landing this action is basically why he is probably #1 at doing this. But it is a Void legendary, so chances of you getting this champion are pretty slim. Okay, let's keep going. The next one is Sinetia. You might have heard of her, but we don't exactly use her for this ability to put skills on cooldown. The somewhat problem with Sinetia is the fact that it is a single target. This skill right here, put the target's skills, so all of them on cooldown, but on one enemy. Also, she is force, therefore you might have weak hits sometimes. However, the rest of her kit is pretty good. We do have an AoE A1. She works well with Skull Crown, I think, right? Somewhat her partner, and then she also has an AoE heal as well as a single target heal. So a great champion overall, but if you want an AoE CC champion that will bypass this buff basically, she would not exactly be that champion. Next one is Bloodgorge. I also quickly talked about him not too long ago, but this is another one that will put the skills on cooldown. However, it is one of each target's skills on cooldown. Therefore, it is probably random. You do not know which one it is going to affect. Therefore, on some fights, it might work in your favor, but then it might not, okay? Also, Force Champion, Void, not Void, sorry, but Legendary, so quite hard to get, but at least it is AoE. Okay, let's keep going with our one and only Basher. We're talking a lot about him recently because he is accessible. So this is not the put skills on cooldown. This is rather increase the cooldown of all of the target's skills by 2 turns, okay? So I think this is what makes it really good for that version of increasing the skills, not just putting all the skills on cooldown. It's the fact that it's at least 2 turns, but it is a Void champion, he is accessible, and it is an AoE. So I think that's why he really shines in this category. Next one is a champion that you might not have heard of a lot. It is Alika from the Barbarian. So let's quickly look at her kit right now. Right here, okay? So she has this skill right here, an AoE, and then has a 35% chance of increasing the cooldown of all enemy skills by 1 turn. So this is not 2 turn compared to Basher, and even if you book this, it's only 60%. It is an AoE, she is force, you might suffer the weak hit, therefore we do not see her used a lot. But being an attack champion means she can also be somewhat of a nuker at the same time. Therefore, if you want a nuker that has the ability to deal some kind of CC, right, she could be a good option for you if you do not have anything else. But obviously, I think Basher is better. Also, the fact that it's a 5-turn cooldown compared to a 3-turn cooldown. Then let's cover these guys a little bit here quickly. They're not that great. We might have heard of Terror Beast before. He's in the Orcs, looks a little bit like one of the Demon Spawn guys. But this is this skill right here. It's on the A1. It's a 20% chance or 30% chance of increasing the cooldown of 1 of the target skills by 1 turn at random. Okay, so you can't really rely on this. The next one is Arbalester from the, I think it is Undead, right? Yeah, right here. So she has the ability to do it on a 100% success rate. Because she is void, she is a rare, that doesn't really matter, but it's a single target, and it's putting the target's skills on cooldown. Okay, so it's not just one, it's all of them basically. So good CC overall because it's 100% chance, but unfortunately it's only single target. Therefore, we don't typically see her used for this. Next one is Hurler from the Lizardman, which is right here. This is an attack champion. I think this guy unfortunately only has again a single target. Okay, so put the target's skills on cooldown. All of them, but it is a 5-turn cooldown, 1 enemy, and it is a force champion. So again, kind of like Arbalester, we don't tend to see this champion used a lot. Next one is Hellfang. This guy is from the Demon Spawn, kind of looks like Terror Beast a little bit, right? Sorry, Demon Spawn right here. So this is the same thing. It's on the A1. It's 1 target. It is a spirit champion. You can get weak hits, and it's only 20% chance, but it is all of the target's skills on cooldown. Okay, so I think it's a slightly better version. It's not just increasing cooldowns, but again, only 20% chance. You can't really rely on that. The next one is Adjudicator, right? I think I said that right. In the High Elves, which is right here. This chick right here. Okay, so she has 50% chance of increasing the cooldown of one of the target's skills by 1 turn at random. You can only book this to be up to 75%. And it is random, so it might not always hit the champion you want it to hit, therefore very unreliable. And then finally we have Harvester right here, which isn't a great champion overall, but at least she does have this kind of like CC on it, right? So this has a 90% chance of increasing the cooldown of one, not all, but one of the target skills by 2 turns at random, a single target. It is void, might be somewhat useful, but then again, like I said, we never really see this champion used. Then there is another one, which is a common, not on this list, but I will take the time to mention this champion real quick. There might be more actually, but these are the only ones I am tracking right now. It is Zephyr Sniper. She has an AoE A1 with a 15% chance of increasing the cooldown of a random skill on each target by 1 turn, and then you can increase this to be up to 30%. Okay, so again, we don't really see this champion used for that. Anyway, guys, all that being said, let's look at the top 5 of each, which looks a little bit like this. So let me try and make this a little bit bigger for you guys. There we go. All right, so for put skills on cooldown, obviously Warlord being the best. It's all the skills. He is void. It's going to affect everyone, so as long as you have the accuracy for it. Blood Gorge would be somewhat second because again, it is an AoE. Then we fall in the single targets, okay? So Sinesha being a good support champion overall, and then Hurler, Arbalester, these could maybe switch, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Then for the increased skills cooldown, Basher is the winner because he has the AoE, is a void champion, and is accessible, which is really good. Then we would have Alika, which is AoE once again, but not 100% success rate. Then we would have maybe Harvester because it's 100% chance, but it's single target. Adjudicator, it's not 100% chance. And then Zephyr, because it's an AoE A1, then we would have like Hellfang, Terror Beast, which are not that great. So all that being said, guys, I really think that Basher, in my opinion, would be somewhere right under Warlord, I guess, right? Because overall Warlord has the better effect, but I think that Basher, because he is accessible, it makes him such a good champion right now. So again, if you guys have any extra shards ready to go and you already fused Cantra the Cyclone, or if you're not going for Cantra the Cyclone, get yourselves a Basher. This is a good champion, probably really good to have in some dungeons as well. And like I said, I am using mine on my own account for Tag Arena as a free-to-play player. I just finished building him with 468 accuracy, which I think is pretty decent overall, and so far it's been working out for me. So all that being said, let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching.